Well, I'm back here still getting the air power in order. And I want to show you this here. Now, this may look like any $9.95 die grinder, but it is not. It is the original dotco. And an original dotco, they kind of got them coated in plastic and looking a little bit different, but they're a good 250 bucks anyway. And of course, these quality grinders take Ericsson double angle collets. And this is still being the 200 series, and then they got a low profile nose. Takes the 300 series up to a 1/4 inch shank. So with Ericsson collets, you can put anything in this, and I think even up to 3/8 in the standard chucks here. So I got a cutoff arbor here, and you really got to be careful with these things, but they're kind of a necessary evil. And the dotcos run smoother than the Clecos because they don't have quite the power at the slow speed. You couldn't stop a Cleco like that, but these run smooth at grinding speeds and have plenty of power. So you got to be very careful, like I say. So it's a very handy tool here, and this is one that my dad gave me, and a friend of his gave this and some other aircraft tools, repair tools to my dad, kind of in the late 90s, and he gave them on to me because he didn't really want to do anything with them. But this is a Thor Bantam, and I don't know the vintage, but it's old, you know, and look at the construction of it, all aluminum. It's got ports everywhere. It's just total quality. We'll plug that in. I've got just a flap of abrasive in there, and a rod with a slot just slipped in there. You know, I take a piece of emery cloth, fold it in a loop, wrap it with good quality masking tape, I guess, which is actually drafting tape is what I use. And it's really a lot better than standard tape like that. Well, anyway, tape it, take a hacksaw, make a slot on the end of a rod, then you got a little flap. You can get in place with some polish, okay? So this whole Thor is really pretty good. I give them all I'm giving them all a shot of spindle oil just to kind of get them going. Okay, I'll grab another one or two and show you some. Okay, here's Mr. Bad right here, a Cleco two-handed one, rated at 2 horsepower at 90 pounds pressure. You gotta watch out for that one. And I've got one more that's kind of a drill and kind of a grinder. I'm just hooked up in houses here now. Let's see if I can get this one hooked up. Hope you're all doing good today. I'm going through these grinders here. And what did I do with that end? I lost the end of that. Okay. And it went right there. Okay, let's get this plugged in. Get a little bit of oil in these. I haven't run them for a while. Now this is a right angle Gardner Denver that takes those Ericsson collets, and it's got a 1/8 inch collet in it now, but it up to 1/4 inch. That's a sweet little grinder. Very small. That's a very small. Okay. Now we're getting into drills. Woo! You will go right there. Now this here, not that one, this one, is a Cleco 1/4-inch drill. Now this is what was used along with dotco drills like this for drilling the holes in the aircraft frames to mount those outer skin in pieces like they do with the rivets. And I'll get the power on this. And the nice thing about these, they're just so simple. Cleco. I think this is the guy who gave it to my dad, Griffey. Got his name on it. This is a pretty old drill. But you can really feather it. And they got a considerable amount of power. But just extremely smooth, like all the quality stuff is. Then I've got an amazing, I don't know how old this is, but a lot of CP tools turned out to not to be very good as years go on, but I've had this for decades. And it's a good one, 1/2-inch drill. And this will twist you up. Very compact and very powerful. Then I've got this one, which is really interesting. I picked this up at Boeing, and it had the nipple here area was damaged, and I made a part for it. And it's a German-made DePrag inline drill. Very handy, that is, and extremely powerful. That's the only German tool I have, but they make very good air tools. Okay, so I showed the old dotco here with a little cutoff wheel on it. And cutting off is stuff with air tools is dangerous, and actually a muffler guy was killed just over in Oregon 20 years ago or so, and people get hurt with these even reinforced cutoff wheels. Well, this is a cutoff tool, and it may have had a guard on it at one time. Picked this up at Boeing Surplus. This is Master Power brand here. And it has a considerable amount of power. I'll set it up and cut. And you can see that it's designed for it. You know, it's got a threaded arbor, not like sticking an adapter into that, which pretty wobbly, but okay for light stuff and getting into places. Okay, I'll get set up. All right, I got the gloves, face shield, and hearing protection on. And I'm going to cut this head off this 1/2-inch bolt and make a short stud out of it with a Master Power aircraft grade cut-off tool. Let's see if I can do it without hurting myself. go. Do you realize how inefficient that is? With 6 horsepower pumping air to this like half horsepower motor, it's terrible. But handy at times anyway. Okay, I'll be back in a minute. I had no idea how inefficient air tools actually are until it was pointed out to me. But they have certain advantages too. I think over there on that 1/2-inch bolt, I could have got that off a little faster with a DeWalt cutoff wheel on a $9 Harbor Freight 4-inch angle grinder, most likely. But it is what it is, okay? Now, this is what it is too. Now, this is getting into precision air. There's ultra precision air, like from the Moore Tool Company, but this is precision enough. And that is this dotco grinder. It's a long neck one. You kind of see these around more. And this one is adapted, made for hooking up to machine tools. And see, it's got the, for an on-off switch, it's got this button that you just push down and lock. And that's screaming. And it's really quite smooth. Smoother than the Clecos. It screams, but there's very little vibration. Now, I can remove this. This is my tool post grinder, like they used to do years ago. You could hook your Dumore tool post grinder up to your old Cincinnati #2 tool and cutter grinder, and effectively have a tilting head that way. And this is my shop built tool post grinder that works quite well on the lathe, and it works quite well here as a tilt spindle. Now I can remove this belt drive spindle and use bushings and put that in here and adapt this to the cutter grinder like I can adapt this to the lathe with this boring bar tool holder. Okay. And that's it. We've got airplanes flying low here. Okay, well, I think I'll call this a video because I believe I showed most of my air tools that you'll be seeing me use from now on, now that I've got some air power. Okay, now I'm going to be back with some cutter grinder stuff I got going on here. I'm going to be cutting off some broken carbide drills and things. Okay, I'll be back soon.